Today we are talking about something that everyone fears, dementia. And I want to tell you a hard truth straight away. Once dementia starts, you cannot reverse it. There is no pill, there is no supplement, no superfood, no medication that can turn the clock back. It's not like high blood pressure where you tweak a tablet. It's not like diabetes where your diet and numbers improve. Dementia is totally different. But there's some good news. The strongest protection doesn't come at age 70. It comes decades before. And the two tools that we can control right now are exercise and diet. And this episode is all about making that very brutally simple. I'll just start by talking about what actually is dementia. Think of your brain like a city. The neurons are the streets, and the synapses or the connections are the intersections. And blood flow is the power supply. Dementia is not one street block, it's the city slowly losing its power grid. And once those circuits go dark, they don't light up again. That's why prevention is everything. Not when the symptoms start, but 20, 30, 40 years before. Also now, talking about the biggest misunderstanding. People ask me, Doctor, what can I take for memory? Is there a tablet? A supplement? If dementia was like a flat tire, sure, pump it back up. Dementia is more like erosion. By the time you see the cliff collapsing, the damage has already been done. And it started years ago. So the only strategy for you is to build a stronger, thicker cliff now. Now, coming to what actually works, there are two things that consistently show benefit across major studies. One is to move your body, and two is to feed your brain properly. There are no fancy hacks, no magic fruit from the Amazon, just the boring, unsexy truth. Now, exercise, your sharpest weapon. Let me break this down simply. Exercise does three things that medications cannot. Exercise grows new brain connections. Strength training and combination of strength training and aerobic exercise increases a factor known as brain-derived neurotrophic factor. I've spoken about this before, BDNF. That's more fertilizer, which means more stronger circuits and a slower decline. Exercise also increases blood flow to the brain. If your brain is the city and blood flow is the electricity, exercise increases the voltage. High voltage is equal to high functioning brain. If you have a sedentary life, that's like running the city on a flickering battery. Exercise also reduces inflammation, reduces insulin resistance, and vascular damage. Most dementia is actually a mix of brain changes and mini strokes that we never feel. Strength and cardio is the best tool to prevent these micro injuries. Now, let's get down to the specifics. Strength training has to be 2 to 3 days a week because muscles are not just for looks. They act like glucose sponges. They pull sugar out of the blood and improve brain energy. People with more muscle mass in midlife have lower dementia risk. This is proven by multiple studies. And remember, you don't need a gym. You can do squats, you can do push-ups, you can get some resistance bands. Your body can be made as your equipment. Now, the other form of exercise is zone 2 cardiovascular training. Walking, incline, treadmill, cycling. Zone 2 is your sweet spot. Your breathing changes, but you can still talk. This is the best zone for brain oxygenation and energy metabolism. And then lastly, your high intensity bursts. Once or twice a week, do short bursts of fast walking or stairs, just 30 seconds. This improves your blood vessels going to your brain far better than any tablet can. Now, I say this to a lot of my patients about the analogy. The analogy is that muscle is your retirement plan for your brain. The more you build in your 30s, 40s, and 50s, the more neurological cash you have to spend in your 70s. Now, slipping over to the second part, which is the diet. What feeds the brain? Let's keep it unbelievably simple. The brain hates three things: sugar spikes, inflammation, and nutrient deficiencies. And what does it love? Stable glucose, high protein, omega-3s, and colorful plants. Now, I feel protein is the underrated factor. Low protein leads to muscle loss, and that leads to insulin resistance, and that leads to brain energy failure. Now, brain is the only organ in the body that absolutely needs glucose to function, and glucose needs insulin to fire properly. So if your brain has an energy failure, this is the silent pathway to cognitive decline. Try to aim for 1.2 to 1.6 grams per kilogram of body weight. Your brain runs better when your muscles are strong, fed with good protein. And in terms of your carbohydrates, do a balanced carbs. Not exactly zero, but not also a sugar chaos. Excessive processed carbs or refined carbs or sugars cause glucose spikes, inflammation, vascular damage, and impaired insulin signaling in the brain. That's why Alzheimer's is sometimes called type 3 diabetes, not because of sugar alone, but because of metabolic dysfunction. Choose carbs that come with fiber, fruits and vegetables, whole grain, and legumes. The goal, remember, is not zero carb. The goal is a smart carb. Now, the next part to remember is omega-3 fats. These are your brain's building blocks. Omega-3s are literally part of the brain cell membrane. Your fish, flaxseed, walnuts. If you rarely eat fish, consider supplementation. Now, coming to colors on your plate. Your brain loves antioxidants, not in capsules, but in actual whole foods. Berries, spinach, capsicum, tomatoes. These compounds reduce oxidative stress inside the neurons. Now, let's talk about the dark triad of diet. This combination accelerates cognitive decline. Sugars, seed oils, and ultra-processed snacks. Not because they're evil, but because they hijack the metabolism. They spike glucose, they cause chronic inflammation, and they starve the brain of stable energy. Now, just coming to the timeline of prevention. This is the truth most doctors don't say clearly. Dementia prevention begins at 30, is built at 40, and is protected at 50, and is tested at 60 and beyond. Once symptoms start, lifestyle changes can still help, but the curve is already set in, so act early. Now, I'd like to leave you with the simplest summary. You can't undo dementia. You can't medicate it away. You can't wait for the symptoms to come on, but you can build a brain that's harder to break. Strength training is not fitness vanity, it's cognitive insurance. Protein is not a diet trend, it's brain fuel. And zone 2 is not cardio, it's actually oxygen therapy for neurons. And a Mediterranean style nutrition is not a fashion, it's inflammation control. The earlier you start, the stronger your defense. Your brain is your story. Protect it now, so the final chapters are still yours to write. You've been watching an episode of FSD Doctor Talks. Thank you, and I would appreciate any questions or comments. Please like, subscribe, and share my videos. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Thank you.